Have you ever stopped to think about a choice you made? Perhaps it was a big decision, like moving to a new city. Or maybe it was something small, like choosing tea instead of coffee this morning. We all make countless choices every single day. We often wonder, what if I had chosen differently? This question is usually just a thought, a little game we play in our minds. But what if it was more than just a game? What if every single choice, no matter how tiny, caused reality itself to split in two? Imagine a new universe being born in that very instant, a universe where you took the other path. This idea might sound like something straight out of a science fiction movie. It suggests that there isn't just one universe, our universe, but an infinite number of them. These are often called parallel universes or alternate realities. In this vast collection of worlds, every possible outcome of every event exists. There is a universe where you woke up 5 minutes earlier today. There is another where dinosaurs never went extinct. And there is one where you are reading this very sentence, while another version of you decided to go for a walk instead. This concept transforms our simple, everyday decisions into cosmic events of creation. The implications of such a reality are staggering to consider. It would mean that you are not just one person, but an infinite number of people, all living out different lives based on different choices. Every path you didn't take is a real path being walked by another version of you. Your regrets about the past would be less about missed opportunities and more about alternate realities that are currently unfolding. The life you could have had is not a fantasy. It is a physical reality happening somewhere else in the grand cosmic tapestry. It changes the very nature of who we are and what our lives mean. In this essay, we will embark on a journey to explore this fascinating idea. We will break down the concept of a branching multiverse in simple terms. We will look at how everyday choices could create these new worlds. We will touch upon the science, particularly from the world of quantum physics, that gives some weight to this theory. We will also think about how our lives, our feelings, and our sense of self might change if we knew that every choice we make creates a new universe. Prepare to look at your decisions and your reality in a completely new light. Let's simplify this grand idea. Imagine your life is a road you are walking on. Every time you have to make a choice, you come to a fork in that road. In our normal understanding of reality, you must choose one path. You either turn left or you turn right. The path you don't choose disappears, existing only in your memory as a what-if. But in the many worlds idea, you don't actually choose one path over the other. Instead, the moment you reach the fork, both you and the road itself split into two. One version of you goes left, and a brand new identical version of you goes right. Now, both of these universes are completely real. They are not imaginary or ghostly. The you that turned left continues on your journey, completely unaware that another you has just been created. Similarly, the you that turned right continues on your own path, believing that turning right was the only choice you made. Each version of you sees your own path as the one and only reality. The two universes are now separate and can never interact with each other again. They have branched off, like two streams splitting from a single river, and will flow on forever, independent of one another. This process doesn't just happen with big, life-altering decisions, it happens with everything. Did you hesitate before clicking on this article? For a fraction of a second, reality might have split. In one universe, you clicked immediately. In another, you hesitated a moment longer. In yet another, you decided to close the browser and do something else entirely. Each of these possibilities creates its own separate, complete universe. From the smallest twitch of a muscle to the most profound moral dilemma, every event with more than one possible outcome causes reality to branch. The number of universes being created is therefore happening at an unimaginable rate, every moment of every day. So, the multiverse isn't a collection of strange, alien worlds completely different from our own. Instead, most of the other universes are almost identical to ours. They are like photocopies with one tiny detail changed. The farther back in time the split occurred, the more different that universe might be from ours. A universe that split from ours a second ago is virtually indistinguishable, but a universe that split when the Earth was young could be a place we wouldn't even recognize. The multiverse is the total collection of all these branching timelines, a vast, ever-growing tree of cosmic histories. Let's bring this enormous concept down to a very simple, everyday moment, your breakfast. You walk into your kitchen and open the cupboard. You see 2 boxes of cereal. One is a sugary, colorful brand, and the other is a healthy, oat-based cereal. You stand there for a moment thinking about what you want. In that instant of decision, the universe prepares to split. You reach for the sugary cereal. At that exact moment, a new universe is born. In your universe, you are now eating sugary flakes. But in the other, a copy of you is eating the healthy oats. Both versions of you are enjoying your breakfast, unaware of the other's existence. Let's follow these two paths a little further. The you that ate the sugary cereal gets a quick burst of energy, but you feel a little sluggish an hour later. Maybe this makes you a bit grumpy during your morning meeting. The you that ate the healthy oats has more sustained energy. You feel great and are more cheerful and productive at that same meeting. These are small differences, but they are real. Now imagine this happening with every single choice you make all day. Choosing to wear a blue shirt instead of a red one. Deciding to take the bus instead of the train. Hitting the snooze button one more time. Each of these choices creates a new branch in your personal timeline. A version of you exists for every possible combination of these decisions. There is a you who ate the sugary cereal and wore the red shirt. There is another you who ate the healthy oats and also wore the red shirt. There is a third you who ate the healthy oats and wore the blue shirt. The number of parallel lives you are leading expands at an exponential rate. Every tiny, seemingly insignificant action you take is, in this view, a monumental act that births an entirely new reality, complete with its own version of you. This extends beyond your own choices. Every random event also causes a split. A coin flip doesn't just land on heads or tails. It lands on both, each in a separate universe. A raindrop either hits the left side of a leaf or the right side, and both outcomes happen in different worlds. This means the multiverse is not just a result of human decisions, but a fundamental property of how reality itself works. Your life is just one single thread in an infinite tangled tapestry of possibilities, where every version of every story is being told all at once. It's a universe, or rather a multiverse, of endless variety. This idea of a splitting universe is not just a wild fantasy. It has its roots in one of the most successful and mind-bending areas of science, quantum mechanics. This is the science that describes the world of tiny particles, like electrons and photons. At this tiny scale, things behave very strangely. A particle, like an electron, doesn't seem to be in one single place at a time. Instead, it exists in a cloud of possibilities. It is in many places at once. This state of multiple possibilities is called a superposition. It is only when we try to measure or observe the particle that it seems to choose a single location. The big question that puzzled physicists for decades was, what happens to all those other possibilities when we observe just one? The traditional answer, known as the Copenhagen interpretation, was that all the other possibilities simply collapsed or vanished, leaving only the one we see. But in the 1950s, a physicist named Hugh Everett III proposed a radical new idea. He suggested that the other possibilities don't vanish at all. They are all equally real. When we make a measurement, the universe itself splits. Each possible outcome of the measurement happens, but each one occurs in its own separate, newly created universe. This idea is now known as the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. According to this theory, the act of observation doesn't force a particle to choose. Instead, the observer becomes part of the quantum system. When you measure the electron, you become entangled with it. One version of you sees the electron in one spot, and another version of you sees it in another spot. Both of these versions of you are now in different universes. The splitting of reality is not a magical event, but a natural consequence of the laws of quantum physics playing out on a large scale. While we cannot yet prove that these other worlds exist, the many worlds interpretation is taken seriously by many physicists. It is considered elegant because it doesn't require the strange collapse of possibilities. It simply says that the quantum rules apply to everything, from tiny particles to large observers like us. So the next time you make a simple choice, you can imagine that you are performing a grand quantum measurement. Your brain, a complex machine of firing neurons, settles into one state, while in another universe, it settles into another. The whisper of quantum possibility becomes the roar of a new universe being born. How would our lives feel different if we truly believed in this many worlds reality? For one, the feeling of regret might change profoundly. We often look back at our past mistakes with a sense of loss. We think about the job we didn't take, the relationship we ended, or the words we wish we hadn't said. These what-ifs can haunt us. But in a multiverse, these are not lost opportunities. They are real, ongoing events. The version of you who took that other job is out there living that life. The you who stayed in that relationship is exploring that reality. Your mistakes are not endings, but beginnings of different stories. This perspective could be, honestly, incredibly liberating. It might free us from the paralysis of making the perfect choice. If every choice leads to a valid, real universe, then there is no single correct path. There is only the path you are on, and countless other paths being explored by other versions of you. This could encourage us to be more adventurous and, take more risks. The fear of failure diminishes when you realize that in another universe, a version of you who made the same choice is actually succeeding. The pressure to live the one perfect life is lifted, replaced by the understanding that all possible lives are being lived. However, this idea could also, lead to a sense of meaninglessness for some. If there are infinite versions of you, what makes your version special? If every good deed you do is matched by a version of you in another universe doing a terrible deed, what is the point of trying to be good? It could make our individual actions feel insignificant, like a single drop of water in an infinite ocean. If every possibility is realized, then our personal journey loses some of its unique drama. The story of our life is no longer a special tale of triumph and tragedy, but just one version out of an infinite library of books. Ultimately, living in a multiverse might force us to focus more on the present moment. Since we can never know or interact with these other worlds, the only reality we can ever experience is our own. Our responsibility is to the life we are currently living, the path we are currently on. The other worlds become a source of comfort or philosophical curiosity, but not a distraction from the here and now. Our choices still matter profoundly for the US that has to live with their consequences. We would learn to accept our past, knowing it's being lived out elsewhere, and focus on building the best possible future for our own branch of reality. The concept of a multiverse could dramatically change our understanding of personal responsibility. On one hand, you could argue that it, lessens our burden. If you make a terrible choice, you might comfort yourself with the thought that another version of you in a nearly identical universe made the right choice. That good version of you is out there, living a better life because of it. This could almost feel like a cosmic balancing act, where your failures are canceled out by your alternate successes. The guilt associated with a bad decision might feel less sharp if you knew that a morally superior version of yourself also exists. However, there is a much heavier way to look at this. Every time you face a moral decision, you are not just choosing for yourself. You are, in that moment, creating a version of yourself who will live with the consequences of that choice. When you decide to lie, you are not just telling a lie in your world. You are creating a liar version of yourself in a new universe who must now exist as that person. You are also creating a truthful version of yourself in another universe. By making the selfish choice, you are essentially sentencing a copy of yourself to live in a universe defined by that selfishness, a world made slightly worse by your action. This perspective places an immense weight on every decision. It means that when you choose to be kind, you are not just performing a single act of kindness. You are creating an entire universe where that kindness exists and ripples outward. You are birthing a version of yourself who is a kind person. Conversely, choosing to be cruel creates a universe where that cruelty is a reality. Your choices are not just about shaping your own life, but about what kind of universes you are willing to create. Are you creating worlds of compassion or worlds of suffering? This makes every moral choice an act of cosmic creation with profound ethical implications. Therefore, rather than absolving us of responsibility, the many worlds idea could amplify it to an infinite degree. Our choices become the most powerful force we have. We are not just navigating our own lives, we are architects of reality itself. We have a responsibility not just to ourselves in this timeline, but to all the future selves we are constantly creating. This would compel us to think much more deeply about our actions. We would have to ask ourselves, what kind of person am I choosing to be? And what kind of world am I creating with that choice? The responsibility becomes about populating the multiverse with the best possible versions of ourselves. The idea of meeting another version of yourself is a classic theme in science fiction. In the many worlds theory, this is generally considered impossible. Each universe, once it splits, is causally disconnected from the others. They exist in parallel, but they can never touch. There is no bridge or doorway that connects them. So you will never bump into the you who chose the other cereal for breakfast. This separation is what keeps reality stable. If these worlds could interact, the results would be chaotic and would violate the laws of physics as we understand them. But let's imagine for a moment that it was possible. What would it be like to meet another you? The person you would meet would be identical to you in almost every way, sharing all of your memories up until the point of a split. Imagine meeting the you who just yesterday decided not to move to a new city for a job. You, who took the job, are now living in a new place. The other you is still in your old hometown. You could sit down and compare lives. You could learn what would have happened if you had stayed. It would be the ultimate way to resolve all of your what-if questions. This encounter would likely be a very strange and unsettling experience. This other person is you, yet they are not you. They have your face, your voice, and your memories, but their life has already started to become different. They are a living, breathing reminder of a path not taken. Would you feel jealousy if their life seemed better than yours? Would you feel pity if it seemed worse? How would you feel knowing that this person is just as real as you are? It could lead to a profound identity crisis, forcing you to question what makes you uniquely you. Even without a physical meeting, the knowledge that these other selves exist could change how we think about ourselves. You might feel a strange kind of connection or empathy for these other versions of you, spread across the multiverse. You might hope that they are happy and that they are making good choices. In a way, they are your closest possible relatives, your cosmic twins. The idea turns the solitary journey of life into a massive family reunion, where you are all of the guests. You are never truly alone because countless echoes of yourself are walking their own paths right alongside yours. This brings us to one of the deepest and most personal questions. If there are infinite versions of you, which one is the real you? In our everyday experience, the answer is simple. The real you is the one who is thinking these thoughts right now, the one living this life. But from the perspective of the multiverse, this is not the case. According to the many worlds theory, there is no main or original timeline. Every branch, every path is equally real and equally valid. The universe you inhabit is not special. It is just one of an infinite number of equally real universes. This can be a difficult concept to accept. We are all the main characters in our own life stories. To think that our story is just one of countless variations can feel like it, diminishes our own importance. The you who became a doctor is no more or less real than the you who became an artist. The you who is happy is no more real than the you who is sad. From a cosmic point of view, all of these versions of you exist on an equal footing. There is no original copy from which all the others were made. There is only the ever-branching tree of reality. So the answer to the question, which one is the real you, is simply all of them. Every single version of you across every parallel universe is the real you. Each one is a conscious individual experiencing their own unique reality. This redefines what it means to be a person. You are not a single entity. You are a vast, branching collection of experiences and consciousnesses. Your identity is not confined to one body or one life, but is spread across the entire multiverse. You are a multiverse person, a being whose existence is woven through countless different worlds. This perspective can be both humbling and empowering. It is humbling because it removes our ego from the center of the universe. We are not the star of the only show in town. It is empowering because it means our existence is infinitely larger and more complex than we could ever imagine. Your consciousness is not a single point of light, but a dazzling constellation. The real you is not the person you see in the mirror. The real you is the entire, infinite tapestry of all the lives you are living, all at once. You are far bigger than you think. We have traveled through the strange and wonderful landscape of the many worlds theory. We have seen how a simple choice, like picking a breakfast cereal, could create an entire new universe. We have touched upon the quantum science that gives this idea a serious foundation. We have explored how our lives, our sense of regret, and our feeling of responsibility might change in a reality of infinite branches. We have imagined meeting other versions of ourselves and have questioned the very nature of what it means to be the real you. We are left at the edge of a profound cosmic mystery. The idea that every choice creates a new universe is one of the most mind-expanding concepts that science has ever produced. It challenges our most basic assumptions about reality, identity, and existence. It suggests that the universe is infinitely more vast and more strange than it appears. It turns every one of us into a creator of worlds, a shaper of cosmic destiny with every decision we make. It means that every possibility is explored, every story is told, and no potential is ever truly lost. It is a beautiful, elegant, and perhaps terrifying vision of the cosmos. For now, we do not know if this is true. The many worlds interpretation is just one of several ideas trying to make sense of the bizarre quantum world. We have no way to detect these other universes, no way to prove their existence. They remain for us a fascinating possibility, a ghost that haunts the edges of physics. Our lives continue as they always have, on what appears to be a single, linear path. We must still make our choices and live with the consequences we can see, in the one world we can touch and experience. But the question lingers, and it is perhaps the most important question of all. Is the life we are living the only one we have? Or is it just one page in an infinite book? Are our choices simply shaping a single destiny? Or are they creating countless echoes of ourselves, sent out to explore every possible future? When you make your next choice, no matter how small, pause for a moment. Consider the possibility that you are not just choosing for you, but that you are standing at the center of creation, ready to split the entire cosmos in two. What then does your choice truly mean?